And then the third one, I'm a little bit different the way I eat. I don't sort of just eat 3 meals a day. I don't like fasting. That I'm very sensitive and can feel my blood sugar levels dropping. I don't wear Fitbits or anything like that. That's another topic, just being in touch with yourself. And then I'm not a nutritionist, and the reason is the first course I ever took as a personal trainer on nutrition, they opened with the sentence, what they've done with the new American food pyramid, they've just flipped it upside down. In Australia, actually we've got the food plate now, which I think is even worse. I don't like counting calories myself. I never wear a tracker or any of those devices. You can still spoil yourself when you're eating clean. I do get a lot of questions about eating out. So I think it's easy to eat the same foods every day to a certain extent. Like I guess I do eat the same foods almost every day. Always the first 2 in a row, the first 2 or 3 meals are the same. I suppose it's familiar. It's a familiar feeling. I know exactly how I'm going to feel. I'm not there for any surprises like a sore stomach or no energy or something like that. And it's habit. Like we just get into these habits, and if you form good habits, they can stay with you. So my first meal on waking is usually goat's feta cheese and superseed sort of bread with loads of butter. And then I just have some green tea, like really weak ginger tea sort of thing. So yeah, I sort of do that the first 2 meals. The second meal is always 3 or 4 poached eggs. And these days I tend to eat more of the yolks than the whites. I might have 1 or 2 whites and 4 yolks, for instance. So yes, and then I'll have sauerkraut with that meal. So yeah, I do have the first 2. And then the third one, I'm a little bit different the way I eat. I don't sort of just eat 3 meals a day. I don't like fasting. That just sort of doesn't agree with me. I think I'm always active, like training people in the gym, doing my own training, and I'm very sensitive and can feel my blood sugar levels dropping. I don't wear Fitbits or anything like that. That's another topic, just being in touch with yourself, like knowing how you feel, taking charge, I'll talk about Fitbits and those things. Anyway, but yes, eating clean and nourishing food will keep you satiated. You don't need the rainbow of colours. Where did this come from? I mean, these things they just keep coming out with. Just stick to the basics, I would say. Your protein, fats, it keeps it, you're under control, you're managing everything, you're feeling great. I don't believe we need lots of recipes and things like that. I don't even have a recipe book. I have ingredients now, and that's what I promote. And yeah, I think we can all just stay lean, strong, healthy. You can, and it tastes great. So let's talk about macros, diet, and all of those exciting things that we really need to know about if we're going to take charge of our health, shape, and well-being at all ages. I just want to mention that I'm not a nutritionist, and the reason is the first course I ever took as a personal trainer on nutrition, they opened with the sentence, your body's preferred source of energy are carbohydrates. And I sort of knew at that moment that this course probably, I wasn't going to take it too seriously, the food side of it, the nutrition. I did, of course, the training, but I just took the nutrition side with a grain of salt. Himalayan salt or Celtic salt. Now, the reason why I believe carbohydrates aren't the preferred source of energy is because our body needs protein, it needs fats. I mean, they are essential. And just for your information, check out what they've done with the new American food pyramid. They've just flipped it upside down. So only about a few months ago, it was the traditional way, which we have in Australia. Actually, we've got the food plate now, which I think is even worse. But the food pyramid had on the top, so the narrow part, it had meat and eggs. And as the pyramid progressed down, at the bottom you were meant to have heaps of carbs. You could have, just carbohydrates basically in all shapes and forms. The main diet was based on carbohydrates, but now they've just flipped it. So the bulk of the diet is actually meat, fats, eggs, and it's all in abundance. So they just flipped it. I'd be really upset after about 50 years if I'd been eating it the other way and realised now that all of a sudden, yes, you can have eggs, it's okay, when they were demonised for so long. So you make your own decision, but I think we need the most nutritious food possible, and I've been having it for years and no side effects. You make your mind up though. How now the American food pyramid has been completely flipped upside down. That means at the top, the majority they're promoting is saturated fats and protein, which is amazing because for years and years it was the other way around. So saturated fats they were the minimum at the top. But like I said, they flipped it upside down. So the broad part now is all eggs and fat and meat, and it's amazing. So more protein and fats, like I've been saying for years. This is what I have in my diet. I don't know if I'd call it a diet. It's more like a, something I love eating. Diet can have those negative as if you can't eat things or you're counting calories. But just look at diet as the way of what you're going to put in your system. So I have butter, like this lovely butter. These are my fats. I have eggs, like about 6 or 8 a day, including the yolks. Actually, more yolks than whites because I love eggs. And of course, I just buy the organic ones too. And meat is a great source of fat, of course, but I never buy fillets with anything. So I always buy full fat. You can see there, this is osso buco, and it's got a bone in it. Sorry, it's still wrapped up because I'm going to cook it tomorrow. But it's got a bone in it and plenty of fats because I really do think the fats, I can feel the difference. They just give you strength, keep you satiated, keep your brain calm. So do include fats in your diet. I would suggest saturated fats and see the difference. I don't like counting calories myself. I never wear a tracker or any of those devices because it makes me a little bit stressed or anxious. I don't like to be told what to eat. I like to feel it instinctively. And once you start feeling like that, you're in touch with your own body. You're not waiting for an app to tell you when you can eat. And somehow that has a calming effect on my brain. I handle it much better without apps and things like that. And because I'm eating this nourishing, dense food with enough saturated fats in and protein, I'm always feeling satiated. You can still spoil yourself when you're eating clean. I have this every day. So it's just dark chocolate. This one's got sea salt in. I'm not promoted by this brand, but I do like it. I get it from the organic shop and I have it with butter coffee. So after I've had my 3 eggs in the morning on sprouted grain bread with butter and sauerkraut, and I make a coffee and put butter in that, and then I have sea salt chocolate, it honestly doesn't feel like you're doing it tough or suffering on this diet. You're actually eating and fueling yourself with really beautiful ingredients, and you feel not brain foggy. You feel like you've got satiated and energy, steady release of energy. And I do that thing where I don't actually count calories. I don't wear any Fitbits or anything like that telling me how my body's supposed to feel. I look in the mirror and go, do I need to lose weight? No, I'm fine. I feel strong. How am I lifting? How am I feeling? I think we can lose touch with our self if we rely too much on those sort of, instruments. So do have those clean, healthy foods. Put some fats in there, make your body feel satiated and strong, and finish off with a coffee and some dark chocolate. Life can be good. It's actually easier than you think, I promise. So come on, we've got to do this. I also think it has something to do with feeling satiated or not. So if you're not eating saturated fats, for instance, you might always be feeling deprived and hungry and never really satisfied. So once you become satisfied with the clean food, then I think you can move on and make some gains. But I think if we're always on a starving thing, just counting calories, and like I said, the calories in some foods, like protein and carbohydrates, aren't as satiating as fat. So jump in and try the saturated fats and see how they affect your body. That's what I'd suggest, and see how they make you feel with this strength and this, like you've got ongoing strength, and also your blood sugar levels don't drop like they do when you're having carbohydrates. For instance, when you're having carbohydrates, your blood sugar levels go up and then they can come down and drop, and you're feeling that sort of yo-yo effect all day, where if you have saturated fats, it keeps you really stable and gives you that strong sort of energy. It's perfect for lifting. I bet you'll train better if you try some eggs beforehand. I think I'm one of the only people that can eat like 10 minutes before I train. I actually can't train on empty. So that's how I operate. It's always fueling the bod. So it'll be interesting to see how you go. I'm really keen to find out, and I'd love to know how it affects you and how you feel. Sometimes people say, aren't you depriving yourself of food? What would you eat if you really could eat what you want? And they get really surprised when I say I'm actually eating what I want. And also, eggs and meat are the most highest nutritional food there is. They are complete protein, complete fats, satiating. They're going to give you fuel for your body. You know, like I said, the protein builds muscle, the fats is even brain health. And you can change it up if you want. Like sometimes I do them poached, other times boiled. I actually like to keep the yolk soft though, but that's another story. And with meat, there's such a variety. You know, you can make so many things, whether you use like a bone broth type recipe or, you know, make it into a burger or put something with rice. So yeah, there's the most nutritional foods of all I'm already having. And yeah, I don't ever feel the need to make huge changes or changes at all. And it's really an organized way to be. You can change recipes, like I said, but no, I actually don't get sick of eating the same foods because maybe it's the way I cook them, maybe it's convenience and they make me feel really good. I know exactly where I am with that food, how I'm going to feel, the energy, the result, and it just feels good. Occasionally, if I do have a meal out or something, even though I might choose steak or something off the menu, they might have cooked it in something else and then my stomach's sensitive to that. So I just like to feel good all the time. And I think that's what happens when I eat the foods I like. And yeah, I'm on my own thing. And I think that's a good way to be, making sure you're getting enough nutrition from the food you're having and enjoying it, keeping it simple. You don't really need to mix it up that much, I feel. I feel one way to get in charge or to feel in charge of what you eat in your body and how you feel is to not rely on the apps all the time to tell you how you're meant to be feeling. Have you had enough? You know, like, and because then I feel we lose touch with ourselves. It's like saying to your own body, I don't believe you. I need to listen to this app. You are the source of where it's all coming from. You have to be in touch with your body. And if you're feeling hungry and your blood sugar levels are dropping, by that I mean you start to feel a bit weaker. And with me, I just need that lift, but not a sugar lift. A steady, strong lift of my blood sugars and a stabilization, which comes from eating fat and protein. Fats really do help. So stop, like I would say, with the low fat sort of mentality, because it's sort of not fair, is it, that the word fat is the same as the fat on your body. You're thinking, if I eat fat, maybe I'll get fat. No, it's sort of quite different. If you eat fat, surprisingly, you'll probably stay lean, and that's the contradiction, isn't it? It's a funny one. But I find eating plenty of fat, like butter, camembert cheese, even dripping, I've always liked dripping, like fat of meat, literally, will keep you satiated. It's good for brain health, cell membranes, everything, like repair, replenish, rebuild. Have the most nutritious foods, and I wouldn't be encouraging counting calories as such. Trust your body. Allow yourself, if you need to have another egg, but make sure what you're allowing yourself is clean. That's the secret, and it's complete, like protein with fats in. Have another steak. I've never heard a person, feel like they're overeating on steak or eggs. So stick to those really clean foods, and if you want to lose weight, it will happen and you'll be in charge and you're not depriving yourself. So that's how I feel about calorie counting. I feel rather strongly about it. And I feel like even if you're wearing a fitness app, get in touch with yourself. Know how you are feeling. Are you having enough? Are your blood sugar levels satiated? Are you getting the results you want? You're the boss of you, okay? I do get a lot of questions about eating out. Dining out, like what do you eat when you go out? I mean, really, most restaurants, if you go to quite a good one, they have good food, like clean steak. So I will usually order a steak, but if I do happen to be out or at a party and it doesn't have my sort of food, that's okay. I rather the company. I love to go out for the company, but I don't always have to eat. Like if it's not my sort of food, I won't be eating it. I'm not even tempted. Yeah, so I can still go out and enjoy company without it being my food, and I won't kick up a fuss. I'll just sort of rather not eat it than force myself to eat something and pay the consequences later on. So I can go out just for the company, that's fine. And then, yeah, and I have a little secret, a confession I make, no matter where I'm going. I always eat before I go out because even by the time you get dressed up and you go out and you're there with the company, by the time you order and the food comes, I just don't like to be even going out hungry, even if I'm going to eat. So I'm sort of always eating really something here or there, even a couple of eggs before I go out, or piece of meat, something like that. Something so I'm not starving, and because my blood sugar levels drop and I'd start feeling cranky, and I want to be good company, so you have to feed me. I'm like a racehorse. I'm always eating. True. Yeah, my diet isn't about going hungry at all. So I think it's really easy to maintain. If you're thinking of getting lean, I think you'd be easy on this diet. You'd love it. It's just it's just basically protein, and you can choose a carb, but anyone can do it. But yeah, but back to the story, I don't like going out hungry. I'll always eat before I go. So that's my trick.